Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you guys. Lots of great ideas, lots of different topics, lots of crazy stuff just kind of going on. Been a crazy last week or so, but something new, like I mentioned last week, at the end of last week in one of my videos, something new I'm going to be trying out for our morning episodes is I'm going to try to focus on a specific topic every day of the week, and I'm working through my schedule right now, and so today's Tuesday, and what I'm going to be scheduled on Tuesdays is an episode what I'm going to be calling BJJ Strength Secrets. And in BJJ Strength Secrets, I'm going to be sharing with you my philosophy, my ideas of basically strength training for BJJ, and it's going to be centered around barbells and kettlebells and body weight, and I'm going to talk about different exercises for BJJ, like how to prep if you're a competitor and you want to prep for a BJJ competition. I'm going to kind of share with you my ideas, some of my programming, again, just how I've done things, the lessons I've learned when preparing for competitions, or just trying to, maybe you want to train like a competitor but you don't want to compete and you want to stay in the peak physical condition. I'm just going to share with you guys like my ideas and some of the stuff that I've found that works really well, and some of the stuff that does not work. So Mondays, I missed yesterday. Yesterday was a crazy day, but Mondays is going to be kind of like a general overview of, kind of everything I've been sharing with you guys over the last couple of months. And Mondays is going to be called, Getting Strong with Heck as normal. And I'm going to be talking about, strength training in general, nutrition in general, just kind of very general, broad, anything that comes to my mind, really, just random thoughts on my days. Tuesdays is going to be BJJ Strength Secrets. Like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about strength training for BJJ. Wednesday is going to be Deadlift Secrets. This is a program I'm currently working on right now, and I've actually put together a small guide on how to build a deadlift, and it's called Deadlift Secrets, and that's something I'm going to be sharing with you guys. This ties into BJJ Strength Secrets as well. So Deadlift Secrets is basically, talking about how to build a deadlift, how to safely build a deadlift. What are some, if you want to use assistance exercises, what are some of the assistance exercises I found to be the most beneficial? Do we need assistance exercises for deadlift? So different topics like that, covering Deadlift Secrets. And then Thursday is going to be Kettlebell Expert Secrets. So I'm going to be talking about basically everything kettlebells, from mobility work to conditioning to building a military press, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The only place where I'm kind of stumped and haven't really come up with anything that just kind of comes to mind is something for a Friday. So someone had mentioned, maybe going over bodyweight stuff on Fridays. So I still haven't come up with a topic for Fridays. So if there's something maybe you'd like for me to talk about, leave something in the comment section below, and I'll be covering something like that on Friday. Right now, currently I don't have anything for Friday. So Monday's Getting Strong with Heck, very general, broad overview. Tuesday's BJJ Strength Secrets. Wednesdays is going to be Deadlift Secrets. Thursday is going to be Kettlebell Expert Secrets, where I talk about everything kettlebells. And then Friday, don't have a topic for Friday yet. So that's something I'm still going to be working on. So as you guys know, you've heard me talk, and there's some kind of bugs like flying around here in Corpus the last several days. You guys, if y'all are new to my channel and to watching my live episodes, my background is in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been training and some competition for a little over 16 years, going on 17 years, and I've made lots of mistakes. I've had some successes. I've won some tournaments. I've won some competitions. I've lost a lot. So I've had I've had quite a bit of a journey in the BJJ world. It's been a little over 3 years since I've, competed. I do see myself competing again. I have a very competitive spirit. But right now I just got a lot of things going on in my life. Business. Had a couple of children now. So life's changing a little bit. So one of the things that I come across in my profession and training jiu-jitsu is how to intelligently strength train for BJJ. So one of the common mistakes that we make as BJJ athletes, and I think as contact athletes and even MMA, is we tend to put too much of an emphasis on conditioning. And you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I think it's worth repeating over, is that, in generally conditioning athletes, runners, cyclists, wrestlers, BJJ, athletes, MMA athletes, you don't need to put too much of an emphasis on conditioning. Now, does this mean that you don't need conditioning? No, I'm not saying that you don't need conditioning for these, because you do, but you don't have to go to additional extended efforts to add more conditioning to your plate, because just the nature of your sport and the nature of your practice, you're going to get a lot of conditioning, okay? If you're an MMA athlete, working on your wrestling, working on takedowns, working on your jiu-jitsu game, sparring, all these things are going to give you tons of conditioning. You just need to do more of that work. And then outside of the mat or the ring or the cage, you really don't need to focus on additional conditioning. Does that make sense? So here's what happens. Because we're very, and here's what happens. So here's I guess the downfall of adding more conditioning, adding more strength training, is that it becomes really fun, right? And we become addicted to that adrenaline rush of just constantly pushing ourselves to find our limits. I think it was a master instructor, Mark Rifkin, that said, if you continue to push your limits, you're going to find them. So we don't necessarily want to push those limits every single day. That's how a lot of these athletes are broken after maybe 5 years. So anyway, it becomes addictive, and it's something that we begin to enjoy, and then we kind of lose track of what it is that we're doing. You do want to add some conditioning work, but you want to focus it mostly on your sport. You want to, if you're a conditioning athlete, you want to focus most of your training on pure strength training. Strength should be your number one priority. And I'll give you a few examples of some strength training exercises. You want to stick with mostly grinding lifts, for instance, like barbell deadlift, strict military pressing, working on one-arm push-up, strict pull-up. Those types of grinding exercises are going to be are going to consist the majority of your programming. Now, you can do some ballistic work, like if you want to work on, like some kettlebell snatches, some kettlebell cleans, you can do that. I would just recommend going, from my experience, where I feel the strongest and the most explosive is, I've noticed that heavy snatches, and when I say heavy snatches, for me, whenever I'm, training jiu-jitsu and I'm trying to, get stronger and get more explosive, and I do want to do some ballistic work, for me, heavy snatches, I'm doing snatches with a 36 and a 40 and a 44, but my volume is low. I'm doing low reps, 3 to 5 repetitions, and I'll train for 15 minutes or so. That's just a broad example, but we can go into deeper programming in another day. But generally, you want to keep your strength training. You want to choose 3 to 5 exercises top, and you focus on the grinds. You want to focus on strict pull-up, strict military press, barbell deadlift, pistol. You want to pick 3 to 5. 5 is max. I'd really recommend you stick to 3. Three exercises, and those are going to be the foundation of your strength training. Morning, Jack. That's going to be the foundation of your strength training as a BJJ athlete or an MMA athlete or any kind of conditioning athlete. Now, if you are maybe, and this is one way you can program it. Let's say you're getting ready for a competition. You would want to focus more on strength training and not so much the conditioning, right? Like I already mentioned. But let's say you're not training for competition and you just like doing jiu-jitsu and you love training and you're just having a great time with it and it's becoming just part of your day. You can do some conditioning work. If you want to do running or sprints, or for us, we're focusing on kettlebell training. If you want to work on high volume snatches and swings, you can do that. Just try to keep it separate days of your mat time, separate days. But if you happen to train jiu-jitsu the same days where you're going to be working on conditioning, you want to keep the conditioning after jiu-jitsu, believe it or not. And this is just my experience. I've noticed that when I do conditioning work before jiu-jitsu, you would think, well, wouldn't you want to get yourself fatigued. That way, wouldn't you want to get yourself pre-fatigued for jiu-jitsu by doing conditioning work before jiu-jitsu? Wouldn't you want to pre-fatigue yourself? That way you only have to focus on technique, and you like, in theory, like, yes, right? That's what you would think. Remember, everything that we're doing exercise-wise is to improve us on the mat. We don't want it to deteriorate or fatigue us on the mat. So why would I want to do some conditioning work to worsen, to like make my jiu-jitsu technique like worse, right? If I do tons of snatches and tons of swings before I get on the mat, and I've got like 8 or 10 rounds of grappling scheduled, why would I want to pre-fatigue my grip and then start sparring? Now my grip is going to be a lot weaker, and then now you're going to start to beat yourself in the head, like, man, now I need to do more grip work, or now I need to do, more conditioning because I'm tired. Like, now you start to fall into this repetitive cycle, and that's when you fall into the lump of, I need more conditioning. So my experience, when I've done snatches and I've done swings, and then like within an hour or less gone right into training, my jiu-jitsu sucked. My jiu-jitsu sucked. My grip was failing. And then it was kind of like demoralized, like, damn, like, why am I getting so tired? Well, because I just did kettlebell swings and snatches, right? Your conditioning and your exercise work outside the mat should always improve what you're doing on the mat. You shouldn't use it as a pre-fatigue. Now, in contrast to that, I've noticed that when I do heavy strength training, like heavy deadlifts, heavy military presses, if I do snatches, I'll do heavy snatches, but I keep the volume really low, to where like I can actually talk between sets of snatches because I'm focusing purely on strength with the snatch. I found that when I train that way, about an hour or so before rolling, I found that it primes my nervous system, and I feel crazy strong. And then I go roll, I go drill, I go do whatever it is, and it actually peaks my performance. Do I have any science or research that can back this up? No. My experience as a BJJ black belt and as an athlete, those are the lessons I'm learning, right? So that's the way I'm going to start to train. Now, if I notice that, look, this is working, and maybe it's just me, maybe, okay, Hector, maybe that only works for you. Well, the only way to find out is for us to test it, right? The only way for me to literally find it out is for me to develop a program like this, give it to you guys for free, let you try it out, and if it freaking works, then it works, right? And then we use that data as a case study. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, if that's something you guys want to do, I'd be more than happy to put together a sample case study program, let you guys try it out, and then see how it goes. If that's something you guys would be interested in, give me a like or a whatever it is, or comment below, and we'll think about something like that. So that's what I've noticed to be the most beneficial, is we're trying to remember anything we do outside of the mat is to improve what we're doing for jiu-jitsu. And in my experience over the last 10 plus years, I've tried traditional weightlifting, I've done running, I even studied yoga for several years to help improve my flexibility and stuff like that for yoga. For jiu-jitsu, none of those things gave me what I needed to improve me on the mat. My grip was still failing, I was still fatiguing between mats, and I thought, well, I need to do more. I need to do more conditioning. Before I knew it, man, I was spending like 2 or 3 hours weightlifting and running and doing all this freaking crap that was not improving my BJJ game. That's until I came across the kettlebell in 2006. Everything completely changed from there. My grip was improving, my mobility was maintaining and even improving. I was getting crazy strong, As a BJJ black belt, you don't see many BJJ black belts nearly deadlifting 600 pounds. I've safely built up a 260 kilo, which is 573 pound deadlift, and still staying, really conditioned on the mat. And the bulk of my training right now, guys, I do very little conditioning, very little. The only time I'm doing conditioning work is when I'm training for the TSC, the Tactical Strength Challenge, and I'm doing snatching. But most of my program is built around the barbell deadlift and obviously get-ups for like mobility and coordination and stability. But the bulk of my program is grinds. And a few of my good buddies around here in Corpus, high-level BJJ guys, professional athletes, I've sparred with a couple of them. You know, we cross-train regularly, and they're very surprised that one of them, you know, a good friend of mine made a comment, and he's like, you know, Heck, he said, I'm really impressed with your conditioning levels because I stay in, because he's an active competitor, he's an active MMA fighter, and he says, you know, I'm really impressed with your conditioning because I stay in fight shape, and when we're sparring, like I noticed that you're able to keep going. You know, we're able to keep pushing the pace, and I took that as a compliment. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I took it as a compliment, and to me, it solidified that what I'm doing outside of the mat is working. Again, do I have science to back this up? No, but experience will trump science, in my opinion, like all the time. You can say scientifically, scientifically you can't do this. Well, but I'm doing it. That makes sense? Yeah, but scientifically you can say, no, you need to do this, and you need to work, VO2 max, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, but if I'm actually doing it, that says a lot, right? So I can keep going on and on. So a few exercises I would recommend, guys, for, you know, to improve yourself athletically, BJJ, to improve, if you want to improve your rounds. Clearly, if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, do more jiu-jitsu, okay? But if you're trying to get an edge, so here's a quick thing, guys, about this whole, like, jiu-jitsu is all about leverage over leverage and technique over strength. Yes, absolutely. I'm a freaking BJJ black belt. Yes, technique and leverage is priority over strength, right? So, but here's the thing. If you got two BJJ black belts equally skilled, the stronger athlete will always win. The stronger athlete will always win. There's a reason why there's weight classes, right? There's a reason why the Mendes brothers don't compete in the absolute division, right? Because if they go against guys like Marcus Buchecha Almeida, or they go against Rodolfo Vieira, they know it's not gonna go as easy, right? Because these guys are bigger and they're stronger, so there's a reason for that. Now, if I were to roll with the Mendes brothers, they'd smoke me, right? Because their skill level is way higher than mine because they train at a different level, and I'm not in a competition type training, and so they would smoke me, right? Even though I'm stronger than them. But two equally skilled athletes, and you can go across any athlete. It can be a football player, it could be a baseball player, it can be a wrestler. Two guys equally skilled, the stronger guy will win. It's fact. And there's a reason why you see athletes like the Mendes brothers, all of them adding strength and conditioning to their program. You see all these YouTube videos of them doing all this strength and conditioning. It was like, well, if being strong is not important, why are they doing it? If being strong is not important to jiu-jitsu, why are they doing it? Because it's important, okay? I see memes, I see these memes about, you see a guy getting like rear naked choke, and he's like, oh, like, tell me how important your bench press is now, and it shows a guy getting choked, right? I mean, we've all seen that, right? Well, yeah, like if a bodybuilder gets on the mat and he rolls with me and he can bench 500 pounds, I'm gonna choke him out. You know why? Because he doesn't have any skills. But I'll tell you what, think about this. Imagine a BJJ black belt, he's in your guard and he can bench press 500 pounds. You think he's gonna be able to open your guard? I think he is. I think he's gonna be able to push hard enough on your hips to drop your hips down and put pressure on your knees to put pressure on your guard. I guarantee if you roll with a BJJ black belt that's got a 500-pound bench press, he's gonna open your guard. The guy's stronger than you are, okay? I guarantee it. Again, this is facts, this is reality, okay? So, enough of that. A few exercises, guys, I would recommend you focus on to get stronger for BJJ. Clearly, number one, foundation should be swings and get-ups, okay? Swings and get-ups are your foundation, but don't, like, once you get competent at the swing and the get-up should be a staple. The get-up is like brushing your teeth every day, something that you should do every day, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 get-ups throughout the day. That's going to help improve your posture. It's going to help increase your longevity on the mat. I see a lot of BJJ guys that are broken. By the time they're black belts, they're broken. They're literally just kind of like holding themselves together, like bandaged up. And that's because they're always, just training really hard, but they're not doing the work outside to create that resilience. So get-ups are going to build resilience, it's going to maintain your flexibility, and it's still going to make you really strong, and it can be a conditioning exercise because you're focusing on strength. The swing goes without saying. Strength, it's a ballistic movement, but you can work it, you can program it where it's pure strength. Barbell deadlift. If you're not barbell deadlifting, you're missing out. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to train like a power lifter. Get strong and build up to at least a 2 times body weight, even up to a 2.5 time body weight deadlift. You can do this safely without a belt, without wraps, without assistance exercises. I've done it, okay, and I still train the deadlift. The deadlift is my number 1 primary exercise. Why is the deadlift important? Because in jiu-jitsu you've got 2 types of things going, two patterns that are going on while you're rolling. You're pushing and pulling. That's it. You're pushing and pulling. You're either pushing because you're trying to pass the guard, or you're pulling because you're trying to, again, pass the guard or choke or something like that. So the deadlift is a pull. It is the biggest pull that you can ever do. Plus, it is pound for pound the only way to build max strength. That's the only way to build max strength. And it works everything. So when you're in someone's guard, and you have to stand up to start to open their guard, what is that? It's a deadlift. Do you think that if you built up a 2 times body weight and higher deadlift, do you think you would have a problem standing up on someone's guard and working the guard open? No, I don't think you would, okay? Build a strong barbell deadlift, okay? Another great exercise for BJJ is farmer's carries. Farmer's carries, huge carryover to jiu-jitsu. It's pure strength. It works on stability, improves the health of your shoulder, and it will build a granite grip that can't be broken. Okay, heavy farmer's carries. You can do this with dumbbells. You can do this with a barbell. You just pick up a barbell and hold it. But I highly recommend a pair of kettlebells. That way you can move back and forth. And I recommend starting out with 1 kettlebell or 1 dumbbell and doing a carry, because it's going to work you symmetrically. And then the last one, which I'll get into another day, but I'm going to mention it here, the number 1 pound for pound kettlebell exercise that's going to get you freakishly strong, build mutant-like conditioning, and will even put on slabs of muscle if that's what you want to do, is the long cycle clean and jerk. When I was competing a little over 3 years ago, when I would prepare for the Pans and some other big tournaments, the only exercise I would do was the long cycle clean and jerk. The clean and jerk is, you've probably seen this with a barbell. It's one of the 2 Olympic lifts where you're going to clean a pair of bells up and you're going to jerk them, and you're going to repeat for multiple repetitions. When I would do these with a pair of 32s, I'd do it twice a week, and that was my only strength training outside of BJJ. I was the most jacked and ripped I'd ever been. I was rolling with guys 50, 60 pounds heavier than me with ease, and man, I didn't have to do anything else. I didn't have to run. I have nothing against running, guys. I have nothing against running and cycling. If you like doing that stuff, by all means, but that comes with the cost. Lots of pounding, right, on the knees, etc. So, in my opinion, kettlebell ballistics, snatches, swings, and the clean and jerk is the pound for pound number 1. The clean and jerk is the black belt of kettlebell exercises. Okay, it's the most technical. It requires technique. It requires strength. It requires coordination, agility. Everything that jiu-jitsu requires, the kettlebell clean and jerk requires. And I'll get more into that and how to program it and how to do it. I'll get more into that in our BJJ Strength Secret episodes. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys today. I can keep going on and on. I actually have, I got something else I got to run to really quick, but that's pretty much wrap up of our first episode of BJJ Strength Secrets. Looks like we got a few of you guys here. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for viewing. If you like this episode, like it. Please share it. I think on the bottom right corner of your screen, there should be a notification if you want to be notified when I come on again. If you guys interested in some kind of case study where I put together some kind of ballistic program. Make a comment section below, and it may take time for me to get to it, but I can put something like that together, put all of you guys, and basically go through a case study and see, does this stuff really work? Which I know it does, because I've been through it and I'm still doing it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Just keep in mind how I'm going to be structuring out my videos. You know, Mondays is going to be Getting Strong with Heck, general broad overview. Tuesdays is going to be BJJ Strength Secrets, where we talk about only strength training for BJJ, mobility for BJJ. It's all going to be based around kettlebells, barbell, body weight. Wednesdays is going to be Deadlift Secrets. I'm going to be talking about the barbell deadlift. This can tie into BJJ also. Thursdays is Kettlebell Expert Secrets, where I talk about everything, just kettlebell only. Friday, I don't have a topic. I'll try to come up with one. Herschel, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. I greatly appreciate you chiming in, man. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks again for chiming in, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.